Anybody in here? Hello. We got about 5 more minutes until the event starts, and we do the interview. We just gotta wait for everybody to get on here. How are y'all doing tonight? How are you doing tonight? It'll be just a couple minutes for everybody coming in. The event starts at 6. About 5 minutes. 5 minutes out. How's everybody doing today? Everybody have a good day? How's it going? Oh, just living the dream. Just waiting on the others to show up. They got another 5 or 6 minutes. One second. All right. So the other half of Millennial X Podcast should be here momentarily. He said he was logging on. My internet is so crappy right now. How y'all doing? Welcome. We'll be kicking off shortly here. The gentleman we're going to be coming in, his account did get banned today, so he will be using somebody else's account to talk to us. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but we'll see. You in here yet, Pops? There we go. Hey! Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
How are ya?
Good. Sorry, man. I just got on with her kids.
Oh, no worries.
This is my cousins. How's it going?
Good. You ready to do this?
I am. We're just waiting on him to show up at this point.
Okay. All righty. Well, why don't we go ahead and get started? If you just want to introduce the podcast and what we're calling the episode, and then we'll just go from there.
So welcome all. This is Millennial X Podcast with our special segment, The Tales from the Front Lines, where we're hoping to interview people that have been and or are fighting on the front lines in Ukraine. Our first guest, when he shows up here, is a gentleman in charge of a group called the Gonzo Experiment. And they have about, I'm told, 600 individuals that they have over there. This gentleman is currently back in the United States on a little bit of leave before he goes back over to Ukraine.
Okay, so we'll be getting some more information from him, but why don't you tell me what you know about him so far, since we haven't been able to find a lot of information about him.
Yeah, so what I've discovered so far, it appears that he set up an organization to go help the military over in Ukraine. As far as I know, it's a rather large organization, about 600 people, I want to say. And they are over there in the front lines, working in tandem with the Ukrainians to, achieve victories where they can. Beyond that, I don't know this gentleman personally. It's somebody who a friend has been put me in contact with. So, I mean, we're here to figure out what he's about, and I hear they're pretty all highly trained. So there's no yahoos going over there with them.
Okay. And have we been able to research? I mean, I know I kind of did a little bit of research on the name and couldn't find anything. I think his TikTok was just recently banned, wasn't it?
Yeah, just today it was banned. I was looking at it yesterday and it's gone today. I mean, he had a good 5,000 followers. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of research out there, so it'll be real good for him, a good opportunity for him to, get his name out there and bring some, I guess, recognition to his organization. 6K.
Do you have any clue? Do you have any clue why his TikTok got banned? I mean, you've looked at it. I've never seen his TikTok, so I don't know.
I have no clue. It didn't look like it violated any community rules as far as they go. I was told they didn't do a live or anything the day before. My guess is, probably Russian trolls just saying they're like a terrorist organization or something, right? It's seems like the easiest way.
Fair enough. And he's getting on with someone else's account, correct?
Yeah, he's getting on with, y'all know him as Plur. It'll be his account. Which one is it? Is it the Plur Freedom?
No, he's on that right now. That's Plur's on that one. Yeah. I'm assuming that's Plur anyways.
Yeah, I think that's Plur as well. It's like two accounts are kind of the same.
Okay. Alrighty. So
yeah,
for those, I
get on, just send it through.
Oh, see.
Pardon?
I was going to say, just to let everybody know, I know we only have 7 people in the room right now, but since we are going to be putting this up as a podcast as well, people should know we've been back from Ukraine. I say from Ukraine for about a month now. We've got tickets to go back to Europe, back into Budapest in 2 days, which sadly we will not be using. We just don't have the funds to head back right now. But for those who are either here watching or going to be listening, we do have a fundraiser site. It is do-your-part.help or justice-4-ukraine.org. Both of those go to the same place. Feel free to donate if you'd like. All that money will be going.
It's also linked in my description.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so check in the description as well.
Hello.
Oh man, I was typing. Hold on, let me back out. Get back in.
All right, not our guest star. That was just Plur. Yeah, so any of you that want to help us, see us go back over to Ukraine, we have a much more intensive plan this time. Our goal is to, after getting the money that we've are attempting to fundraise, to go in under press passes, basically onto the front lines and film what's going on over there.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more documentation of the things that are happening. There are more drones up in the air. That stuff wasn't initially getting out. Our intention is to create some evidence of the atrocities that are going on while they're happening, not after the fact. So the Justice for Ukraine, and really it's Justice for Ukrainians, is documenting what's happening so that when this is all said and done with, these people can be prosecuted in the international courts. There's a lot of evidence, but so far we have not seen anything live. And what I mean by live is happening, not right as it's happening, but it hasn't been released, any of these atrocities. We have seen some, tanks blown up, things like that, but we're hoping to catch them in the act.
I mean, it's enough that people keep saying, "Oh, this is the strangest war that's never been seen." You know what I mean? Like, because but I mean, I get it. It's how can you like be filming TikToks and shooting for your life? You know what I mean? While avoiding artillery bombardment and hyperbaric missiles and all the good stuff. All right, so I
Yeah.
think Fleur's gonna come in here when I think he can tell us where our friend is at.
Okay.
See if he. Heyo.
There we go. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Good. Hey, do you know where Gonzo's at?
I was running a few. I was gonna jump on earlier, but that's where Gonzo was messaging me. He's gonna jump on here in a few minutes.
Cool.
Okay, perfect.
That'd be sweet.
Oh, yep. Hopefully.
Right.
He was a little heated when we were talking. So
Really, because of the account getting banned?
yeah.
Oh yeah. So Skylar here, she her boyfriend is in Ukraine right now fighting, and he might join us too. So that'd be real cool. As far as I know, he was really good friends with the gentleman that gave his life to blow up the bridge to stop the Russian full-on invasion of the tanks. So that should be interesting to hear his perspective about it, because I guess they were really close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, he won't go live. He'll be messaging us.
Oh, I was hoping to go live. You never know. You can dream.
Oh.
I put all my minus 1175.
All right. Do you want to start off with just talking about some of the stuff that you wanted to talk about?
Well, yeah, but it was mostly questions about his organization. That's kind of what most of this is about. So he's kind of critical here.
Well, no, I'm talking about some of the things that Gonzo brought up that I messaged you, gave you the list of.
Yeah, weren't those like things that he was going to tell us? Like things he thought people should bring with them?
Well, that and about like some of the stuff like that's going on over there as well. Like, I mean,
Sorry, what? Sorry, I got a lot going on here. No, you're good.
oh, there's Word Daddy Sergey.
What up, War Daddy?
That's Sergey. Sorry, Sergey.
Yeah. You want to get on here, Sergey? You'd be perfect. Privet.
Hold on. Let me back out. I'm gonna jump right back in. I'm gonna go try to get a hold of him real quick.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Hello, everybody. Like my new haircut? The 8 of you in the room? That's fair. That's totally fair. My internet is crappy here right now. No worries. Doesn't hurt to try, though. Doesn't hurt to ask. Hello. Hope you're all being as safe as you can. Sorry, one sec. All right, Pops, if you want back in, just hit back out of the room and then come back in and hit the share button down at the bottom right. How's all that works? There we go. Boom.
All righty. That worked.
Excellent. So yeah, if you look at the comments here, the person named War Daddy, he's actually in Ukraine right now.
What part?
He says the soldiers that he's with. I'm not sure he can say that. Yeah, waiting for Gonzo still.
Well, Eastern Ukraine, Southern, Northern, Western.
Great question, Sergey.
Energizer Bunny, huh?
I think that's one of Plur's friends. I know we talked too, but most of Plur's friend.
I'm guessing Native American.
I'm unsure.
Well,
he says he's
just
in the
Native
East.
American mental health advocate. So usually it's Native Americans, or I mean,
Pretty safe bet.
yeah.
So he is in the East right now, he says.
Okay, so having fun fighting, it sounds like.
Hello, Tony. I guess we'll talk to everybody till Gonzo shows up.
Cherokee, well, welcome.
And you were right.
Great nation.
Indeed.
All righty. Oh, let's see, what day? Saturday? I think I'm going Saturday. I was supposed to go the 16th to get my tattoo. And then we ended up showing up there and it didn't work out. But I am going on Saturday, I believe. So I'll have to show you what I'm doing two. Doing the Ukraine, and I'm doing a Nordic one with runes and stuff. That's pretty cool.
Nice. That is pretty wicked. You like my haircut?
It looks great. Little faux hawk going on there.
Yeah, I got like a line too. They tell me there's like a line there.
Yeah, I see it.
Seems cool. I don't know who this Tony Phillips is, and nobody knows what account you're talking about. Do you have Wi-Fi, Kim? Oh, I see that there. What's the password?
Where is Hope? Someone's asking about Hope.
She's just hanging out right here. You guys want to see her little baby Hope?
Little baby.
You got her leash on. She's more concerned with going on a walk right now. Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Oh,
I felt bad. This place is pretty small. It's like a quarter of the size of where I was staying before. So she's kind of just like kind of stuck here in the day while I'm at work. She'll mow the lawn, I suppose.
Yeah.
I saw all the talking points that we wrote out. I like put them on my phone and then get on here and I'm like, wait a tick, wait a tick. Sorry, Claire's saying something here. I want to see if we got an update here. But yeah, I sent all the, so I put all the notes on my phone, but you can't use it while you're on live. So I had to like send them to myself. I didn't have the Wi-Fi, so I was trying to do it off of my phone's hotspot. Freaking nightmare.
Yeah.
Any news?
I'm letting them know right now.
Letting them know what?
That I'm live right now, so you can join on mine.
All right, here he is. I sent the invite.
What's going on, gentlemen?
How are you doing?
Yeah, I had better days.
Yeah, it's always rough getting your account taken down like that.
Well, the good news, I had the IT department and some lawyers working on it, so can also
Yeah,
find out
so
who it is.
I was able to go to legal at TikTok.com and let them know what happened, and they sent me to like a back alley way of doing like an appeal, I guess is the way to say it. And yeah, I had to wait like over a week before they even responded to me, and they said, "Oh, you're good. Sorry."
Yeah, I don't, we got a lot of haters, and that's just really sad to me that we actually have haters for what we do. It just blows my mind that people feel the need to put a roadblock into us protecting people in Ukraine. I mean, that's just blows my mind, the way people think nowadays. It really does.
Hey, Derek, can you tell me you're getting feedback off of him?
I'm getting bad echoing. Yeah,
Yeah, hold on a
Okay.
second. Let me get off this headset here. That might be
Okay.
better.
that might help.
Okay. Also, Gonzo. Tony Phillips here was the one that I was talking about earlier to you, the one that's over in
Yeah, I know.
Ukraine right now.
How's that? Is that better sound?
Yeah, it seems a little better.
Yeah, that seems a little better. All right, so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, actually, I was in the Navy for quite a while. I did a lot of special ops and so forth in there. I'm not going to divulge my NEC or MOS or any other standing, but basically what happened was I had a good friend of mine, Mike, that was in the service with us, and we decided to help people in Ukraine that we know a lot of people over there before this all happened, and we just basically got together and formed a bigger group than we could imagine. Right now, our group has a member base of 1,572 as of this morning, and that includes 815 combat people over in Ukraine. So we have a very big following over there, and we're, like I said, we're just doing it for the betterment of the people there. This all came down on them; they didn't want it, and we learned a lot about unity. Is the big word. Unity is a huge word for what's going on over there. It's absolutely amazing that these people are just pulling together. It absolutely floors me how that happens.
So since this is going to be going up on our podcast, we're getting really bad feedback, and I'm thinking it might be coming through Plur's phone.
Let me back out. Try it again.
All right, let's try that now.
Okay, so when did you decide to get involved?
Actually, we had intel a couple of months before it actually happened. So what we did was we pulled a team together of I would say it was about 23 of us. We got together and we got on board right from the beginning. We got a lot of sponsors on board to help us out with the logistics as far as equipment, transportation, everything. You know, we actually thought of everything before we implemented it. Myself and 10 other of us are pilots also. Actually, when I got out of the service, I flew for Southwest for years and built up a lot of flight hours and so forth, and met along the way a lot of pilots that own airplanes. So as far as transportation, we have equipment, we have sponsors that, you know, one day it might come out and a lot of people will be shocked at who our sponsors really are. That includes celebrities, that includes billionaires, people that own businesses that people deal with every day. So it's a very big, you know, the biggest part about this is it's about who you know. And we know a lot of people through networking. And everybody pulled together, which, you know, it's phenomenal how many people actually came on board. You know, I'll give you an example. One week we had like 23 of us. The next week we had 200. And from then it just grew and grew and grew and grew. We actually use TikTok as a recruiting tool. And we also use a lot of this stuff through the VA to look up vets that were interested in going. So it was a lot of research, tons and tons of research we had to put into this to get it going properly.
So I guess the question begs, and I think people are going to want to know, how is it that nobody's heard of you with such a big organization? If you're out there, boots on the ground, and making a difference, you're recruiting. How is it that there aren't stories being done? Sounds like a you know, something that every news agency in the world would want to spread.
Absolutely, and I get emails from news agencies all the time. When we're actually in country, we get approached all the time. We're not looking for attention by any stretch of the imagination. We do not want any attention whatsoever. Attention brings bad things, very bad things for something that we're trying to do. It affects the mission planning. It affects everything about us. We have a huge presence there, and a lot of the people in Ukraine know who we are through avenues here. But we try to keep ourselves quiet as we possibly can. I don't need the attention. None of the guys over there and the women fighting, they don't need attention either. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
I would never do a news interview ever.
Well, being an Army vet myself, I completely understand OPSEC. So I guess it begs another question. What are you doing here?
What am I doing here? Here is
on TikTok.
On TikTok, well,
yeah,
you know, social media is the foundation for followers, for people to reach out to people. You know, the avenues of reaching out to a lot of people is just very limited. You know, you could do the email route, but how many people actually read emails nowadays? You know, we thought of doing that. We thought of doing stuff, and here's the other part of it. You know, how do you do things that you kind of stay under the radar just a bit? You know, we don't want to obviously do television commercials or anything like that to recruit people. So TikTok was actually one of our avenues of recruiting. And I will say the most people on TikTok that we get, and we get quite a few emails a day, the most people that we get from TikTok, it's a base that they really want to go. They really want to go over there and do whatever they can and help. It seems a lot of people are actually very inexperienced with combat and so forth. And I personally don't like to put anybody in jeopardy that doesn't need to be. But with that being said, there's all kinds of other avenues that somebody can do to help out. You know, Overwatch is a big thing. People take Overwatch for granted. Overwatch could be as simple as somebody back in the States watching a news station and reporting back. And we have quite a few people that do that. They actually get on their computers and look up information or provide information. The biggest thing is networking. Networking is very, very huge. You know, it's said that, you know, you touch, well, I'll give you a good analogy. In sales, I worked in sales for a little bit. That's a tough job. You know, sales is, you know, you go to a gas station. Our sales manager was awesome. He said, hand out your card to 10 people. Out of those 10 people, how many people you think they're going to talk to? So networking is, yes, exactly. Networking is very huge. But yeah, we're very limited at how we can get the word out. Extremely limited. But we've been very successful. I'm actually shocked. But we also got a lot of people from different avenues that, you know, we belong to private Facebook clubs and groups and so forth. Actually, quite a few of those we belong to that we've recruited from. And there's a lot of groups out there. But social media, you know, that's just the way to go in 2022.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, me and Derek have both been boots on the ground in Ukraine. It's not easy to get in country. So how are you guys doing it?
Well, we do it a couple of different ways. Actually, we have our own planes. Okay, so we have the freedom of flying anywhere we really want to go. And fortunately, the planes that we have access to have a nautical range that they can make it over there without, you know, having to refuel. So we either go into, you know, several places. We go into Rezov, Poland, our main hub, or we go in through Moldova. Moldova is getting hot right now, so it's going to be difficult getting in through there. We have a great relationships with the customs office over there. So getting in country is really not that difficult for us, like you know, for most people. But you know, a lot of people think that they can just walk over the border. You just can't. That doesn't exist. You have to, you know, go over there in a car, or you have to have some kind of transportation to get over the border. And they're actually cracking down a lot. The biggest problem a lot of people are having is getting through customs. Not customs there, but customs on the way back. Going through the customs in the States and so forth. Border Patrol and FBI and stuff are looking into a lot of people.
Okay, so let's say someone wants to join up. I mean, I was a combat medic. If I wanted to go over and help you guys, what would be that process?
Well, the process is, you know, starts with an email. Unfortunately, our main guy passed away, and he passed away from health complications. Has nothing to do with what's going on over there. He handled quite a bit, so we have a snag in the road. Now, granted, you know, this is a person that was getting 200-300 emails a day. So we, you know, our policy is to go through every one and, you know, try to find a position that they can be capable of doing. the biggest thing that we've come across is a lot of people do not have a passport. You have to have a passport. That's got to have one. There's no way around it.
Definitely super critical.
Yeah, the passport is a biggie. We've actually helped some people get a passport, but and actually in the long term of helping those people get a passport, we've actually had people take advantage of that. Where we got them the passport and all of a sudden they changed their mind, which is okay. That's fine. You know, everybody has a right to change their mind. But with doing that, you know, you put a lot of resources into somebody, then they don't do it. We properly vet people. When it gets to the point of vetting them, we properly vet them by either, you know, DD 214 or if they have contacts with us that they've been in combat with, we verify it that way as well, which we have done quite a bit. There is a training program that you kind of have to go through if you don't have the experience that we think is just. There is a bit of a training program you have to participate in, and that's actually in Florida. You know, the clear thing to put somebody in a combat position, you know, I want to make sure A, that they can handle it. You know, B, that they know what they're getting into. They know the complications and what's going to happen. C, they may not come home, and that's a bigger complication. We've actually had to bring people home that went over there that had no guidance, or they were with no other clubs or people over there. That's also a big problem we're finding out there is there's a lot of people that go over there by themselves with no plan, no direction, anything. So we have a very, very serious vetting and on-board process. But once you pass that, you know, you go over there. We do have a lot of people in Ukraine that have joined our forces that, you know, do or die, they're going to fight anyway. So we take them on. The problem with that is a lot of them don't have, you know, combat experience. A lot of them don't have, you know, work a basic rifle. There's just so much to it, and you know, we started this organization as a professional one. We don't want it to be half-assed or, you know, well, you know, Johnny wants to go over there this week. Let's just send Johnny over there and see what happens to Johnny. You know, Johnny might become a rescue mission, and it just blows everything out of proportion.
Right. So let me stop you there, just because we're kind of going off track just a little bit. So someone could contact you through an email. Is there an email they can send? Did you have an email address to be able to contact you guys?
Yeah, we have an email address. It's theGonzoexperiment @gmail.com.
Okay. So I'm guessing there's a little bit of, like you said, a little bit of a backlog, so they may not hear from you immediately. But I'm assuming you send them what you're going to require to vet them. You'd mentioned the DD 214, obviously. What else could they use to show some kind of experience? Because you and I both know if you've been in the military, the biggest asset you have is the guy next to you. And if you can't trust the guy next to you, well, you're fucked. That's just the way it is. So, what can people give you so that you can vet them properly?
Well, the DD 214 speaks a lot. You know, I have myself and contacts that have been in the service a long time. You know, you could tell me who you served with. You could tell me, you know, who your NCOs were. You know, right down to your corporals. Sometimes we put that together as well through you know, personal knowledge, and that's a biggie. That's a real big one. Just because you hand me you know, the 214 doesn't mean that's exclusive. Also, we make initial contact with everybody. We ask a basic questions. What are your qualifications? Um, what have you done? Where have you served? Basic questions that if you've been in the military for a while, you kind of know how to weed through the crap, so to speak. And that's become a real big one. We look at the emails, and me personally, I can look at an email and tell where the person's mindset may be. If they're over there to do it for the right reasons, or they're doing it for the wrong reasons, or they just the biggest one we get is, I want to be a hero. We get that a lot from people that have kids. And as soon as somebody tells me they're a family man and they have children, the first thing I tell them is, stay home. Be a hero. You're a bigger hero to your children than you are going over there. There's enough people over there that we don't need you to risk your family life. And we have but as far as the vetting process and the contact, yes, we contact and we ask certain questions. A lot of times myself or Mike used to call them. I call them now, or another person on our team named Jerry, he calls as well. And we talk to the people for a while. I have talked to people a couple of hours on the telephone, getting to know them. So it's a very serious process. It's not looking at lightly, where a lot of people just take anybody they can possibly get. We don't do that. Not at all.
Well,
Are
I
your
don't know.
soldiers paid or have any benefits or anything, like health benefits? Like what happens if they die while they're over there, for instance?
That's actually a great question. Here's how we do it. There is no pay per se. What we do is, while you're there, we do take care of your household everyday living expenses. That's a given. We actually like to see the expenses. You give us a report, and we'll give you that money for the time that you're there. We don't pay you for being there, but we will pay your expenses. As far as transportation, that's all included. If you're not within a certain radius where we can fly and get you, we throw you on a commercial flight to our main place we fly out of, and you fly out with the group. As far as equipment, like I said, we have sponsors. We have so many sponsors, it's unbelievable. And Jonathan knows we have a lot of sponsors. We have tons of sponsors that provide uniforms. We actually don't wear uniforms a lot over there. That's one thing we don't do. We actually go gray man over there quite a bit. We have the best ballistic vest you can possibly buy for money. They all have side plates too. They don't, they're just not front and back. They have side plates with cummerbund, soft armor in them. So they have trauma plates, top of the line stuff. I mean, I can send you pictures or whatever you want to see on them, but they're top of the line. Mostly we use ACH or ECH helmets. The weaponry is provided through Moldova.
What are you guys fighting with over there? I mean, I can't imagine you're taking AR-15s over.
Oh, yes, we are. We're taking AR-15s modified. AK-47, to me, that's a great gun if you want to drop it in the mud and pick it up and shoot it. But other than accuracy, it sucks. It's probably the most horrific weapon there is for accuracy. That's probably why a lot of people make it out of a firefight with those. A lot of stuff we bring in there. I can't go through the logistics of how we do that, but we do. We have supplies over there in that regard.
Okay, so any person that is going to join up, I would recommend that they do their due diligence as well. I mean, people get excited and like, oh, I want to go over and, be a part of history and maybe save some lives and, put down some Russians, whatever their excuse is. I think anybody, and this would be my recommendation personally, is that they vet whoever they go over with, because again, I'm not interested to going over and putting boots on the ground to be with someone that has only shot 100 rounds through a gun before. I want someone who's got some combat experience, or I don't want to be with them. So how would they go about vetting you? What's that process like? I mean, I can only imagine you'd agree with that.
I would agree with it. I mean, once you meet us in person, we provide everything for the person that's going in person, anything they need. That's why we have a training thing before you go. It's a get to know you type of thing. It's usually 2 weeks, but it's as low as a week. It all depends on the individual. Yeah, as far as the combat vets, we have a relatively strict process where we don't let anybody go there in a combat position from the States unless they have at least 2 combat tours. That's a minimum requirement, 2 combat tours. And the combat tour has to be a legitimate combat tour, where they were actually in gunfire or what have you. It can't be a guy that, well, I drove a truck over there to bring supplies. I dropped off a box of MREs to a troop over there type
So
of situation.
so basically what you're telling me is you're looking for operators, because I was part of the 172nd Infantry, and I can tell you, out of the 3 companies and 12 platoons, maybe 10% saw in southern Afghanistan, Paktiva province, they did not see firefights, gunfights. We had 12 people die, so there was definitely some stuff going on, but most people never saw it. All they were doing is ducking, from a fob from artillery. So it sounds to me, a couple of tours, you're looking for operators, you're looking for special forces guys, you're looking for SEALs.
Well, that's basically most of our team. We have special operators. We have a lot of infantry. 11 Bravos. We got a ton of those. But combat is combat is you can be in a area, mortar strikes, what have you. If you know how to respond to those, then yeah, I consider you combat seasoned. Combat. What's the right word for here? If you've been in an area where you've been shot at, shelled, that's combat. That's a big difference. Picking up a rifle and shooting back, well, yeah, that's another avenue. But we have different companies that do certain things. We have Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo companies. Each one of these companies have, you have special forces, Delta guys. We have a couple Delta guys, SEALs, on one team, and so forth. We fit you in the team that you fit into, so to speak. We don't mix up the teams. It's not a good thing when you're running missions to mix up the teams, where you have a couple Delta guys and a bunch of infantry. It just doesn't work well, that I found.
So why don't you explain to us the difference between what your operators are doing compared to those people that you're taking in, that because you had said earlier that you would welcome people in that didn't have military experience but were the right caliber of person. What would be the difference? What would be what would that person that doesn't have that experience, what could they expect to do with you guys?
Well, the biggest thing, here's the biggest thing. Wars are not won by combat boots on the ground alone. They're just not. It doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. Any war you look at, in history, Overwatch. I'm a firm believer in Overwatch. Overwatch is so important, and that consists of ham operators. Anybody that can communicate, that knows how to program Harris radios. Have you ever programmed a Harris radio? It's not easy. Radio operators, there's all kinds of different jobs, MOSs that vets have done that help out. We have doctors, um, we have corpsmen, medics. It's different. It's different for everybody. You don't have to be a rootin' shooting cowboy to go over there and do any good, to help out completely. Overwatch is so important, so important. I have people here that I am so proud of, so proud of. I can actually divulge a couple of missions that we have done. Um, that
That'd be excellent.
Overwatch has been phenomenal in planning those. One was actually a perfect mission that we actually falsified a radio transmission. I'm not going to go into details. That was spoken in their native language to get certain people at a certain point for an ambush. And those people are back in the States doing this. So to give us that so we can bring over there and run a mission is important. And missions are important. Here's the key word. A lot of people are over there in little groups and they're becoming vigilantes, or they're running around in what I call ass grabbing. They have no direction. They don't know what they're doing. There's a lot of people like that there that just go in groups. And actually one group I actually saw a video of and I was in shock. Some guy pulls up in a car, grabs two guys and say, come on, let's go. Why in the hell would you get in the car with anybody over there you don't know? Why would you do that? But that happens a lot. And these two guys got into an area where they were being, taken fire, and luckily they walked away from it. But they even said the mission made no sense of what they were doing. So yeah, planning and mission and proper vetting is the foundation of what we do. This is not taken lightly. It just is not.
So,
can you tell us a little bit about what's going on over there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, what were you saying, Pops?
Oh, Derek was just wondering if you could tell us maybe a couple of stories about what you've personally been involved with over there.
I can't really go into a lot of detail, but my main objective and my main job is to make sure everybody gets in the correct group that they need to be in, that they understand what they're doing, that there's a clear communication of command throughout the groups, that everything is run professionally, that there's no room for error, none whatsoever. We have a plan A, B, and C. We just don't have a plan A. We have a plan A, B, and C. It's very well thought out. I've been instrumental in so many missions over there that have made a big difference. One of our biggest ones, it wasn't a combat mission, but the theater in Maripol, when it got bombarded over there, we were one of the first groups over there pulling people out of the basement. And that was a job that it was just horrific. For the life of me, and I've been to a lot of places, and I've seen dead children, I have, but not on the caliber if I have seen there. It's absolutely disgusting. We also do a lot of search and rescue stuff. If they need us to do that, we drop what we're doing and help out. There's actually some cities over there that actually have ambulances still running. Believe it or not, they have ambulances still running. I don't know how they do it functionally, but they do. They use cell phones as their main communication, which the cell phone service over there is just horrific. We go there, we have cell phones basically as a backup, but we have SATCOM radios. Everybody has a Garmin InReach. If you ever seen a Garmin InReach, we can communicate back and forth with. But yeah, we've done a lot of, I guess, small missions. As far as we're big on ambush, we're big on redirecting troops so they can be captured or give up. A lot of them actually give up. The
That is what I've heard.
The common Russian soldier over there has no clue what they're doing. But see, that's a ploy too, because we've come across some that, they play the game, but some are just so effed that they don't know what the hell to think. I've talked to quite a few of them that, you wonder how sincere they really are. I think for the most part they are, but I think a lot of them just have no clear direction. They have a lot of camps there that are just, if you were in the U.S. military and you had a camp that was disorganized and a mess and people drinking and hanging out and looking at stuff that they stole off of Ukraine citizens, that's the best way to describe how the Russian soldiers are acting there. We have taken some in and turned them over to the Ukraine army, but where do they bring them? There's nowhere to bring them. There's no logistical place to bring POWs.
So that brings up a great point. It sounds like you're working in conjunction with the Ukrainian military. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we are. We're actually working very much in conjunction with them. Mostly the 118th Brigade, Mountain Brigade we work with. And we actually take a lot of command and direction from them. They give us a lot of intel of what's going on. They provide us translators. They're a great group of people, but there's not that many. The Ukraine army is just not that big, and it's so spread out everywhere. You'll run into like groups of 15 to 25. I think 25 is the most Ukraine army group I've seen together. Is 25. I don't think I've seen any more than that together. They're just so spread out. They're so spread thin over there.
Well, and I know a good majority of the Ukrainians aren't part of the army that are, how are you dealing with those guys? Because they don't have direction.
Yeah, see, wow. Yeah, I mean,
Remember with me?
The biggest problem is this hit them so fast. Then they made a law. Anybody from 18 to 60 had to stay back and fight. They were very strict on that, especially in Poland, about letting them over. They just wouldn't let them. They would not let them go over. We run into a lot of those that when we run into them, we just refer them right to the Ukraine army. We tell them to take them under their wing. We don't take them in with us. We actually refer them back to the Ukraine army. There's nothing. The biggest problem is there's no logistical way to do a lot of things, like that. For example, what do you do with these people? They're a lot of them that we run into. They're very upset. It's their home. But what do you do with them? I can't take them under our wing, so we give them to the Ukraine army. And the POWs. Like I said, the Russians, we only had one incident. They actually fought back. But other than that, they dropped their arms. They give up. But what do you do? Where do you bring them? There's nowhere. There's no logistical thing. I know that Zelensky was working on that, but I don't know. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating for everybody involved. And over in Ukraine, they don't really have a lot of prisons that you can actually bring these people and store them.
Well, yeah, logistically, you're talking about tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
there's no way around it, and that's the biggest downfall, that they have. They should have that, because the worst thing to do is, taking a POW and throwing back into circulation. You're just fighting an uphill battle then, and that's what's going on.
So what is your long-term goal?
Long-term goal, I want them to have Moldova's next. I guarantee you, Moldova is next. It's already on the radar.
I've been saying it for weeks.
Well, yeah, they're already causing problems there. So
yeah, I have a guy that is one of our main support guys. He's an old Vietnam pilot that lives over there on a farm near the border. This guy's a crazy ass nut, and he married him and his son married a Ukrainian woman, and they moved over to Moldova, and they are a great resource for us. But they're scared. They're scared. They're coming in from Odessa and working their way up and around. There's a ton of Russian troops working that way now. But
well, yeah, I mean, what I find really impressive, and I know that Derek feels the same way. Ukrainians they're just such an inspiration, just seeing what they have done against the Russians. Now, granted, I don't think Putin had any clue what was going to happen. I think he was expecting to go in a couple of days and take what he wanted. It didn't happen. He's since pulled back and kind of regrouped. But how long do you think this is going to take to end?
Well, here's classic warfare, okay? And I've been in the intelligence game for years. Here's what's going on. In any type of war that you're not sure of, and you're dancing on eggshells, even Putin is dancing on eggshells. The only way around Putin is, a nuclear war. That, he's not a sane person, but who in the hell would want to push a button? We'll stop with that. Now, second, in a warfare that you're not sure of, what do you send in first? You send in your crap. You send in your crap soldiers and see what they do. See if they follow command. See what goes on. Because if this all goes to power for Russia,
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one. I don't know anybody but a third world army that would send in crap in the beginning. You want to end it as quick as possible. I mean, look at any of the wars we fought recently. The last 30 years. You send in the heavy hammers, you beat them to death, and then you send in some troops behind it. So can you give me something that you might be referencing, a war that you might be thinking of?
They give up without a fight.
No, where they would send in the crap and just see what happens.
The crap gives them without a fight. It's that simple. What good soldier that you have is not going to fight back?
I think what he means is, why are they sending in like the lowest classification, the worst of the worst? Like why strategically would they do that, I guess, is the question.
Well, there's no strategy behind it. I mean, there is absolutely no strategy to what they're doing. In a proper, war, you take over a certain area and you work your way around. What they're doing is they're spreading these people so thin, trying to get everywhere at once. And these soldiers that are giving up, I can assure you, these guys are not top of the line. They're just not.
But they're going up against virtually nothing other than civilians. I mean, the Ukrainian army has built up a lot since 2014, but they're nothing against the number 2 or 3 number army in the world. So my question is you had said that they basically just sent in their lowest of the low to see what happens, but every war that I've ever studied, you take everything you've got and you roll them over. Let's just go to same continent, Europe, World War II, Hitler. I mean, that's the perfect playbook. Hitler played the first couple years of the war perfectly. So I'm just wondering, what's the difference? Why have these Ukrainians been able to stomp on the Russians? In your
Why
opinion?
is Ukraine doing what Poland couldn't do?
I'll tell you why. Think about this. There's a good movie, I love it. It's called The Patriot. I'm sure you've seen it. Mel Gibson,
Yep.
Patriot.
Mm-hmm.
And they were wondering why they were getting beat. And they said something to the line, don't quote me, of, farmers with pitchforks were fighting back. The Ukraine people are fighting like hell. They're fighting the hell out of them. They didn't expect that. They expected to just march the fuck in there and take over like it was, a Sunday picnic. That's what they expected. It's exactly what they expected. They expected that they were just going to roll up and say, here's the key to the city. Have at it, boys. That shit didn't fucking happen. That's exactly what it is. So a lot of these guys that are being captured and a lot of these young kids, they're young. They're like 18, 19-year-olds. Young kids for the most part. And that's why I call it their crap army. Putin has the resources. He could have bombed the shit out of that place and took it over immediately. Go back to Desert Storm. Look at Desert Storm. What happened in the first week of Desert Storm? How many sorties did they run in Desert Storm? How many?
Right. And
I was
I think,
just born at that time.
Well, and the thing is that's what I'm saying is that's how wars are run. That was my point. Is that's how wars are run, and that's what should have happened. So what I'm wondering is, why didn't it? Because they are throwing everything at it that they have. The only thing they've got now to throw at it is nukes.
Yeah, they've deployed their high tech.
Yeah,
their hypersonic missiles.
They've got nothing left. So, do you see an end in mind? I mean, I guess is my question.
Well, let me answer your question with a question. Okay, I started in 1980 when I went into service. 1983, I was in Grenada, October 1983. It was a very small campaign, but I learned quite a bit back then. The same technology that was supplied back then to the Cuban people, where do you think that came from? It came from Russia. Now, Russia still has a lot of equipment they had back then. They have very little modern equipment anymore. Extremely little. So, their equipment is a big failure. They're running out of gas. Simple logistical things. If you've been in Afghanistan, what's the biggest thing they have over there to keep the vehicles running. They have the vehicle. I don't know what they call it in the Army, but they have the vehicle mobility guys that keep that stuff going. With fuel and so forth. Russia just doesn't have. Maybe they have the resources, but they don't have the knowledge. I mean, a tank running out of gas? Let's be serious here. That's not planned. That's a joke. That's a joke. I don't think I've ever heard of an American tank running out of gas. I just haven't heard of that. And that's what I mean by, sending in the crap. The equipment that they're using too is a joke. A lot of them don't even have AKs. A lot of them have some of them have old Enfields they're fighting with, the Russians. Look at their MREs. Their MREs are like 10 years old. They're just everything they have is just so outdated. It really is. They're not modernized as a correct Army unit. They're just not. And the misdirection is incredible. Everybody that I've talked to, you know, I don't know why we're here. We're just here on maneuvers. They just told us we're here to do maneuvers, and you know, now it's well, you know, Ukraine is under Nazi control and so forth. So nobody really knows what in the hell's going on. And what do you know, if you have a leadership army, where does that go? Where does it end up? It ends up done. What I think is going to happen, a couple things I think, you know, and it's just my opinion, and opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. The thing that I think that's going to happen is Putin's either going to give up and blame it on, you know, the Western world if they stopped him, and woe is me, or he's going to give it his all, but his all is not going to be good enough. I just don't think it is. I think the Ukraine people are, and I'll speak on their behalf, I think they're the strongest people I have personally ever met. I think they're extremely passionate about their country and what they're doing. And I think they'll prevail. I really do. With the help of everybody going over there, I really think they will. And, you know, until my dying day, I will help them as much as I can.
Well, and I have to agree with you. I think that Ukraine is like America was, you know, in 1776. They are very proud, and they're willing to fight for their country and their land. And I think that's why they're going to win. How do you foresee being a part of that? We don't know how long this is going to take, but how long are you guys in it? I mean, you say you've got a lot of really big sponsors. Do you guys have an unlimited budget? Can you guys do this forever? You got 10 years in you? 5 years, 2 years?
I can tell you this. You know, my good friend Mike, big part of this, co-founder of our organization, he passed away. He actually worked for EA Sports. I'm sure you heard of them. Big gaming company. He was a multimillionaire. He left $12 million alone just for our budget. And that's, I don't mean to say small to dismantle what it actually is, but on a grander scale, yeah, we had the finances. That's not a problem. We had the finances to go for 20 years if we had to. That's not an issue. As far as our people too, we bring them over there for a couple weeks and we bring them back for a week. We don't burn them out. The worst thing you can do to a soldier, you know, is burn them the hell out. You know, where they're there for months on end, because, you know, over there, it's a lot different. There's really no base where they can go back to and sleep, take a shower and regroup. Doesn't exist. The Ukraine people have been very generous to let, you know, our people in, and they let anybody in, really, you know, to do that, to take a shower, to take a nap, do whatever they have to do.
Oh yeah, we found nothing but just hospitality while we were there. They wanted to do whatever they could to help us help them. So I get that. So I realize you guys have got boots on the ground. You're over there running missions. You're doing what soldiers do. What about the other side of it? You know, me and Derek are very much in a place where we want to be able to, if not us, have someone document the atrocities that are taking place. Because, yeah, if you're on the front lines, you're seeing that civilians are getting killed. You're seeing these things that people are only seen on footage weeks later. We want to be able to present that in real time, because you know what, the war's been going on 6 weeks, and people have already lost interest.
Yep.
So how do we bring these people to justice that are we live in an era like no other. You know, you go back to World War II Germany, and it took years and years to get people on the Hague and get them prosecuted. So are you guys doing anything to help with that side of it? You know, because if this is over in 6 months, great. If it's over in a year, that would suck if it takes that long. But how are we going to
So
make
much to be
real
held
change?
accountable.
Yeah.
You know, you asked me the best question you could possibly ask. That's the that's the best that's the question of the night, if there's a such a thing. Um, man, oh man, let me go on a rant. Passion. People lack passion. People are very complacent. People are very happy in, oh wow, this is hot this week, but slapped in the face, oh, what's happening next week? You know, what's the big thing this week? Um, that's one of the biggest questions I ask people. You know, is
Mm-hmm.
if you're not in this shit for the long run, don't bother. Don't waste our time and don't waste their time. This is not a weekend warrior trip. This is not, no offense against the National Guard. I love them, but this is not a 2 week bivouac, and you go home and everything's okay. Um, it's just not like that. So the biggest part of the vetting process is if I'm talking to somebody and I don't have a good warm and fuzzy, I politely tell them, maybe this is not right for you. Maybe this is not what you want. And we have a lot of people that want to be, um, part of a team because, maybe they were malnourished as a child. I don't know. Maybe they didn't have a dad, you know, whatever the reason may be. But, we have quite a few people that are like that. And we politely tell them, this is not the right position for you. Even if you don't go there with us, just don't go. Don't bother. If you're not in it for the long run, stop. But the atrocities over there are freaking horrendous. Um, I've seen stuff, not only with humans. Okay, I'm a big animal lover. I love animals like crazy. And if you were there, you know just as well as I do, they're running all over the place. There's dogs, cats, every damn where, running everywhere. Um, and that's horrible. To me, that's horrible.
Absolutely.
That's a human can find means to take care of themselves. An animal cannot. It's that simple. When's the last time you seen a dog with a credit card buying a meal? It just
Well,
doesn't. It doesn't.
there we've seen around the world that animals will figure it out. They'll turn into scavengers. And but to speak more to your point,
Well,
there are zoos over there that have been bombed, and not only are animals killed, but now there's no place to keep them, so they're having to euthanize them. So I get your point. I'm an animal person too, but there's problems everywhere in the world with overpopulation of feral cats and things like that. I get what you're saying,
Australia.
but back to my question, what's your plan for the bigger picture? How are we going to bring these people to justice? How are we going to record these atrocities as they happen and not have them be hearsay where you've got Putin saying, oh, it was all set up, or the Ukrainians went in and killed them just to make us look bad? How are you, because I know what I would do, but how are you guys going to combat that part? Because it's one thing to go and fight a war and walk away. We've done it a lot of times. We spent a lot of time in Afghanistan, a lot of time in Iraq, a lot of dead people, a lot of homeless people, a lot of damaged people. I was part of the Wounded Warrior Brigade in Fort Sam, and there are a lot of people that come back without legs, without arms, and then the issues. So there's a lot of things going on here, but how do we, or again, I'm asking you the question, how do you guys expect to make a difference there? Or do you? Are you just there for the fight, or are you there for, all the way to the end?
Well, great question. We're there for the long haul. We're not there for like next month we're going to call it quits. No, we're there for the long haul. Everybody, like I said, is very passionate. As far as logistically speaking, of people that have issues, whether it be PTSD or whatever from there, because the atrocities back there again are just horrible. Going back to the dogs, I've seen dogs eat people, which I've never seen before. That was an eye opener. But hungry dogs eating people on the street, just makes you just shake your head. I've seen a hell of a lot of stuff in my lifetime, but that was probably one of the worst. Or eating a child. Seen that as well. But back here we do have an infrastructure where people can actually get help, which is better than the VA. We actually have that in place. When we put everything together, we thought of everything. We left nothing unturned. We actually even have a basic list of items that you should bring over there when you go. And the basic list is not basic, it's pretty big. But logistically, we thought of everything. We thought of what's going to happen years after this, or people going to have PTSD from this. What can we do for those people?
So are you guys financially prepared to deal with that, or is this just going to be handed off to a secondary medical system, whether it be their own insurance or again the VA if they happen to be a military vet?
No, we're going to handle all of that. If you're on our team, we handle you. We take care of you. It's not, and another thing too, I should have bought it. If you go on our team, you sign a contract, and it's a good contract. It's not a bad contract. It's a contract that outlines everything. It's not a basic thing that you sign. It's a contract that more protects you than anything else. And we actually have, I can't tell you unless you join or you're part of it, but we have groups and organizations that are in place right now that will take care of that for you. As far as medical and stuff like that, while you're here, we take care of that. Now, if something happens to you while you're doing this and you have long-term and you need long-term medical care, that's taken care for as well. I've dealt with the VA. I know a lot of people have dealt with the VA. It's a pain in the ass. It's just a pain in the ass all the way around to get anything done there. But everything has been really thought of. But we're there for the long haul. We're not going to just give in and let these people get railroaded. Who's to say it's not going to happen here, in the States? That's actually a very good possibility. You never know.
I don't agree with that. I don't think that we're ever going to get invaded here. You might have a suitcase nuke or something go off, but let's get back on to point. Thank you for telling us how you plan on taking care of your soldiers long term. Back to my original question though, about being there for the long haul, and I'm not talking about, again, not about boots on the ground and they're having soldiers there fighting. I'm talking about let's look at the end of World War II. The years and years and years of trying to bring people to the Nuremberg trials was a great example. What we have today though is the ability to capture these things in real time. I can get a $15,000 drone, and I'm a drone pilot. That's why I say that. I can get a drone that'll go 7 miles in country, which is, pretty decent. You can get pretty close to the action, capturing, these things that are going on. Have you guys got anything like that, where you're not just there to fight, but you're there to help, make a difference? You're making a difference with bullets, sure, you're making a difference that way. But I'm talking about long term, bringing people to justice is,
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get off track.
No worries.
Everybody has a GoPro. Everybody has a GoPro with a chest harness. Those GoPros are running 24/7. Somebody always has one going on. We have drones like crazy. I'm also an FAA drone pilot myself. It was easy for me to get it because I'm already a pilot. I just got the rating. But to every 4 people, each one has a DJI Mini Mavic 2, each group of 4 people. You know, it doesn't have the capability of 7 miles, but we don't need that for what we do. They have a capability like 2 or 3 miles, if that.
Yeah,
But,
they're about 1,500. They're about 1,500 is all line of sight. Those things don't go very far. The minis.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's
learned
good
that.
for what we need. What we need. You know, we had a great sponsor for it, so I'm not going to complain. But yeah, we record everything. We actually keep on the GoPros. Each GoPro has a 400 megabyte card on it. Have you seen those little 400 megabyte cards?
Yeah, your issue is more the battery than
Yeah.
memory.
Yeah, the battery. Yeah, they have.
Oh.
I think they have. Well, I think they have 2 or 3 batteries, but yeah, the batteries are a huge problem. I think you got 30 minutes of flight time, but mostly for what we do is, you know, we look over ditches and stuff like that with them to see what's over there. But we record everything. We keep all these discs come back. We actually have a team that goes through the discs and puts away video. So as far as documentation, we have tons of documentation. The news is always after us for, you know, documentation and stuff, and we just, like I said in the beginning, I'm not a news whore. I'm not a news type of guy. Everybody there, we tell them, you know, that's part of our contract. You don't speak with the news. You don't talk to them. The media, to me, is a bad thing. Now, when it's all is said and done, yeah, I mean, there's, you know, you can't really go anywhere without somebody having eyes on you, you know, camera on you, taking pictures or video. And video, you know, people lie, video never lies, unless it's edited. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, we're well documented, and you know, at the right time, whenever that is, we'll turn that over to the right, you know, people, because obviously we have no jurisdiction to do anything, you know, for a war crime or any of that. But yeah, there's tons of war crimes over there. War crimes every single minute over there. It's crazy.
Right. And that's really what I'm speaking to. I mean, I think it's great that you guys have GoPros on, you know, so that at least, if nothing else, it keeps your people in check. I think it's kind of like with the police, you know, that's the best thing to have a camera like that for. Drones are great. But so what you're telling me is you're covering just your vicinity. You're not going out farther. You're just covering your vicinity, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yes. Yeah. We actually thought of having a couple people with cameras for documentation and stuff. Now, if we see something that's going on that's you know, really bad, you know, if we see it via drone or however we see it, we try to go to it and get as much documentation as we can. But other than that, yeah, we're just, you know, taking video for stuff that, you know, right around us. And it's, you know, it's iffy over there using a drone. Now it's very, very, very iffy. Especially, I would like better drones personally, because the ones we have over there are pretty damn loud, and you don't really have the altitude to get above a lot of stuff. But yeah, you know, when the time is right, whoever that entity is that's going to pursue, if that happens, all that video, you know, millions of hours will be turned over.
Okay. It's good to know. Hey, Derek, do you have any questions?
I do not. I do have to give like a 5-minute warning though. My cousins are getting a little rambunctious right now. They're doing so well, you can't even hear them at all, but I feel real bad.
Yep. But listen, I mean, you know, we're all in this together. I mean, you know, in some fashion, you know, if you have any kind of a human heart, and you even hear and you look at the news and watch what's going on, if you just can't get involved with that, then something's wrong. And you know what I meant about, I didn't mean somebody was going to invade America. That's just not what's going to happen. I don't foresee that. I foresee, civil unrest in our country. I think that's a possibility. But no country's going to come here. Shit, what is it? Every other household has a gun. That would be pure suicide.
Some have several.
Yeah, if they did. Yeah, I
Some
buy
can
guns.
supply the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
I buy guns. My wife buys purses. Every time she buys a purse, I buy a gun. So,
Fair trade.
yeah.
So one last question. So I don't know what you know about what Derek and I are up to, but our goal is to do exactly what I was asking you about. Our goal is to document the war crimes as they happen, which requires boots on the ground, on the front lines. There's nobody that we know of that's doing that. And, we're looking for funding. Is that something that your organization would be willing to look at?
I can. Okay. I remember in my comment, if you said I was thinking about putting together a team to do that. My hesitation on doing that, quite honestly, is if you do that in that capacity, you are a huge target. A huge target. Russians are looking for people specifically. They have spaznak groups that are going out looking for people that are doing that, because their biggest thing is propaganda, misinformation. When you come in there and try to document real things going on, it's an issue. If you want to put something together like that, if you want to work with me on that, I'll be glad to help you with that. But I warn you, I strictly warn, that's worse than being a combat person over there right now.
Oh, we understand. Yeah. And that's why it has to be done, because nobody's doing it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You have to realize, two civilians paid their own way over there to go over and provide medical help. That's us. And then once we got there, we realized we could do some good there, but there was a much bigger picture, and that needs to be documented, not only for history, but to bring these people to justice, because heaven forbid Putin decides to start dropping, tactical nukes. These kind of things need to be documented. You can't run behind a smoke screen. So if that's something you're open for, we'd love to at least talk to you more about it. We absolutely appreciate your time, and we're 1,000% towards the cause. Derek, why don't you show him your left shoulder?
Oh yeah, the tattoo. There you go.
Yeah,
1,000%.
So
yeah, as far as chemical warfare, we've been running into a lot of that. Actually, one of our very first fatalities, I'll tell you real quick, we were helping out in Mariupol, and they had an airstrike over there while he was over there helping getting victims out, and we instructed him to wear his hazmat before he went over there, and he didn't have it on. He got hit with shrapnel that had a high mercury and other chemical bases in it, and he got back to the States and he got really ill, and within a week he passed away. That was our first fatality over there. So they are using chemical, warfare there to some extent. And
what do you say to the people saying that the Ukrainians are making biological weapons?
The Ukrainians are making biological weapons, huh?
I hear it a lot. It's one of the biggest things I fight against is that particular argument. I mean, I know it's not true, obviously, but that's what they say.
I've not seen it. Not at all. That's the furthest thing from their mind. They're worried about getting shot, or what's the next meal I'm going to eat, or where I'm going to sleep tonight, or what happened to my family member. You think they have time to build this crap? Come on. Misinformation I don't like. I can't stand misinformation. It's crazy. One thing I'll touch on.
That's what I fight.
People there's a couple certain ways you can get over there, without our group or whatever. We actually have an agreement with the Ukraine Army with our group, a separate agreement. However, if you go over there, do you have to sign a contract? No, you don't. You don't have to. You can negotiate a contract like any other contract negotiation. They're looking for fighters, and they'll take just about anybody with combat experience if you negotiate it right. So that's a big misinformation about signing a contract. But if you do sign a contract, they expect at least a year out of you, for their contract basis. But then again, if you sign a contract with the Legion, then you're turning over your passport and everything else, and you're kind of just giving up your rights as a citizen from whatever country you come from. So getting out of there comes problematic. If you want to, split and leave, you're going to have a big, big problem. But that's a big misinformation that you have to sign all these contracts and this and that. You don't. It's all depends, when you buy a car and you negotiate the contract, it all depends on what you negotiate, You think they're going to be picky?
Are you talking the Ukrainian military or the Foreign Legion?
The Foreign Legion. The Foreign
Yeah.
Legion.
Yeah, our run-in was with the military.
Taking passports?
So.
They are now, yeah. They're taking passports.
Yeah, we weren't asked to join the Army. We were just told we were going to be part of it. So but that was the Army, not the Foreign Legion. So
yeah.
All righty. Well, I think we probably ought to close this up. Again, really appreciate you coming and sharing your knowledge and your experience with us and what you guys do. We support that 100%. Why don't you give us that email one more time for people to be in contact with you if they're interested?
Yeah, sure. I'll actually comment it on here. It's the Gonzo Experiment. The Gonzo Experiment at gmail.com. And actually, we have the Gonzo Experiment 1 account that we had to do on TikTok here until we get the other one straightened out. But yeah, I'll reach out to you guys separately, and most definitely, if you really want to do that, I can make it happen. But I just want you to know it's probably equivalent to being a door kicker in Afghanistan.
Yeah, well, someone's got to do it. No one is, so.
Yeah. And you guys, if you ever met door kickers, if you know what I'm talking about, that's a different mindset. I wouldn't want to be there with a camera. Not at all.
Well,
and our GoPros
I get it.
are really, really hidden in our armor. If you really look, you can see them, but they're not blatantly out there. We're very, very, very careful about that.
Yeah. All righty. Well, we're going to wrap this up. This is Millennial X. And again, we appreciate your time, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk soon.
All right, guys.
Yeah, it's been great, everybody.
Thank you very much.
All righty.
Have a wonderful day.
You too, guys.
You getting off now?
Yeah, but I want to talk to you, so I'll get off live and give you a call.
Sweet. All right, talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, great, everybody. I'm going to start doing news updates, things happening in Ukraine, but I'm not going to specifically stick to Ukraine because this is an issue that, like we're only viewing Ukraine right now, right? But what we don't understand is that this issue is spreading globally. It's affecting every country, some places much worse than others. And so I hope to, within the next, couple of days, get different pieces about, different parts of the world. All right. Well, you have a wonderful one, everybody. It has been amazing. Bye.